ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Vicki Chats podcast. I have two very special guests in the studio with me today. Andrea Dellit, Executive Director, Cedar Valley Angels. Andrea is a longtime Cedar Valley leader with a heart for people and a brain for strategy, a foster and adoptive mom, trauma-informed care advocate, and proud 90s kid. Andrea balances family life, community service, and a 20-plus year corporate career with grace and grit. She holds a BA and an MBA from UNI and is passionate about equipping communities with the tools and understanding needed to support children and families impacted by foster care. Andrea and her husband, Brad, have fostered 6 children and adopted 4, while also volunteering with causes close to her heart, including the Alzheimer's Association and infertility support efforts. When she's off the clock, you'll find her enjoying tacos, cheering on the Cubs and the Cowboys, and still dreaming of hitting the road with the Foo Fighters.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Love it.
But when am I off the clock? No,
Right. And Lydia Gessner. Lydia is the development coordinator at Cedar Valley Angels, a storyteller, a connector, and a creative spirit from New Hampton, Iowa, with a passion for building community and bringing hope into hard spaces. A Bethel University graduate with a degree in English and a concentration in creative writing, Lydia blends her love of words with meaningful advocacy for children and families in the foster care system. Inspired by personal loss and the adoption journeys of her college coaches, Lydia is deeply committed to helping others navigate grief, find belonging, and discover beauty in the midst of challenge. So through writing, speaking, and community engagement, she seeks to shine light into dark places, championing love, resilience, and transformation wherever she goes. Welcome, Andrea. Oh, Lydia.
Hello. Welcome to both of us.
Hello.
Welcome, Lydia.
Welcome.
Pass the coffee, please.
Oh, yes, let's do that.
Okay, welcome back, ladies. Before we dive in, what's one exciting way Cedar Valley Angels has grown or evolved since your last visit?
Yeah, I'd love to answer that. So we have partnered long time with local colleges to be able to have, volunteers in our office who are getting service hours for their different classes and projects, and then also for internships. And so we actually have 2 interns right now from UNI, which is something we've had in the past. And so it's been really fun to onboard and get to know these ladies. One's from the social work department at UNI, one's from the English department at UNI. So they've been doing a really great job for us. So we can really do internships for almost any degree path, which is cool because there's a lot that makes up this work.
Yes.
But then we also have 2 students from Iowa Central Community College and then from Hawkeye Community College who are doing like service learning work experience for their program through our organization as well this semester. So that's been really cool to get to branch out and partner with some other colleges beyond UNI this semester. So yeah, so it's been exciting. Yeah.
It's amazing. So let's make a big deal about this. The Great Escape. What is it and why is it such a powerful next step for Cedar Valley Angels?
Yeah. So the Great Escape is a really fun event. It brings together local celebrities and really anyone who is interested and passionate about advocating for children and for families who are fostering. So this event is just 2-hour commitment for a competitor. And so they have 90 minutes to help raise awareness for these youth and families and sell $25 keys. And so we'll explain a little bit more about that, I'm sure, but they're trapped in a mock escape room, which aligns that escape theme, aligns with our Breaking Cycles campaign for 2026. So it's a really exciting event. There's a lot of high energy. It's one of our favorites throughout the year. So.
I love that. And the phrase Breaking Cycles is at the heart of your 2026 campaign. So what cycles are you working to break? And why is this focus so important right now?
Yeah, thanks for asking that, Vicki.
Yes.
We are really on this multi-year journey as an organization, are really strategizing around how we can educate the community as a whole. There's just a lot of pockets and places where this is unfamiliar territory, right, for different people and organizations and businesses. And the easiest answer for what cycles, the biggest one is generational trauma. So, kids and youth end up in the foster care system and experiencing everything that goes along with it, many times because their parents have experienced trauma, right? And it's generation after generation. So
of course.
Everything that we do at CVA is to stop that, be able to change the outcomes for those youth and support foster families along the way so that they are equipped, with the support they need. It's a really hard road to travel, very rewarding, but a very tough road to travel. So this year, the Breaking Cycles piece is really to help educate the community about where this is impacting us in the Cedar Valley. So, I have met people who say, and actually I thought this myself, like, oh, I don't have a connection to foster care. It's not really something that impacts me. And what people are surprised to find out is that the impact reaches every single corner and crevice of our community. It impacts every business, every school, and every individual. You probably just don't know it. If you haven't been close to it. So we really want to educate everyone about everybody in the community can do something to impact.
Yes.
We have a saying, there's a place for everyone at CVA. So
I love it.
It doesn't matter. You don't always have to volunteer or be a year-long program volunteer. There are small little ways, and learning about how you can impact and change the life of a child is just amazing. And watching it happen is the most rewarding thing.
Oh, I love it. And for viewers who are learning about this for the first time, let's walk through what a Great Escape event actually looks and feels like.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, it's a super fun, high energy, competitive event. So it's across 3 sessions on Friday, March 6th. And so competitors will arrive, let's say it's the morning session, they'll arrive, we feed them some breakfast, and we'll share a little bit more about what Andrea shared and just the reasoning behind why they're doing what they're doing. It's not, a call-a-thon where we don't want them to know what the mission is behind it. So it's really important for us that they walk away with a greater understanding with our programs and then are able to advocate it to their friends and family and network. And then for 90 minutes, they are all spread out across our office and they have, call and text scripts and everything to share with their network a little bit more about what we do and then compete against one another to try and sell as many $25 bricks or keys as possible.
I love that so much. And I had the honor and pleasure of doing it with you last year.
Yes.
And I only wish I could do it this year, but I will be out of town with my daughter in Kentucky, which I'm excited about.
Oh, fun.
She's having her first baby, and it's a baby shower.
Oh, that's a really great reason.
Yeah,
that's a great reason. I have such fond memories of when I did it with you and how when I would text or call my friends, I still scroll through the text where they say, I'm breaking you out. And it's so cute. It's really fun to be a part of this event.
Yeah.
So hopefully next year I'll be free because I really love doing it.
Yes, we're gonna have one in the fall, a different event. So.
Okay, you should mark me down for that.
Okay, you got it. You got
it. Yes. Okay, so let's talk about the keys. How does selling keys work? And what does unlocking one key make possible for youth and families experiencing foster care?
Oh, yes. Great question. So similar to what Lydia said, right? So let's use Vicki as an example since you actually did this. If you were at this event, your task is to sell keys. So each key costs $25. And so you might call Lydia and say, hey, Lydia, I'm trapped in the CVA office in an escape room. We're doing some fundraising for Cedar Valley Angels. And they might say, like, what's Cedar Valley Angels? And why are you trapped? And like, oh, we're in a fun competition and they support youth and families, experiencing foster care. And a lot of times people are like, oh my gosh, absolutely. What do I do? And so we equip you with, the website, or we have a Venmo, right? And then so someone sends a donation and they buy a key. So it's more than raising money, right? Because we are 100% community funded. The community is very generous to our foster care community in that way to fuel our programs. But along the way, you're going to run into people who don't know about CVA. They're not going to know that the foster care system and the people who are experiencing it need support, not just money, relational support, emotional support. And so it's just this great event to be able to share all of that. And then, participants love competition.
Yes.
Right. It's usually, and even people you thought weren't maybe very competitive, they show up and they're like, I'm getting out. And so, they want to be the first one to break out. They want to sell more keys. We've had people come in and say, hey, my friend, I called him and he actually wants to buy 5.
Oh,
right. Or so it's just this amazing event, and
right.
people who come to the office are able to just interact with their network and share more about it. And who doesn't love a contest and a competition?
Right.
So yeah, it's amazing. And so it really supports the organization and our programs in more ways than one.
So how does the Great Escape connect directly to your Love Box and Dare to Dream programs?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
Absolutely. So we talk about, that our programs are really transformational, but there are layers to transformation, and each layer comes with a cost. And so like Andrea said, we're 100% community funded. So at the base level, Great Escape really just helps us to meet some of those financial needs that it takes to run our programs. But then beyond that, it really provides just that greater level of support. Even just youth and families seeing that there are people advocating for them in the community is huge. And so oftentimes it can feel really lonely when you're trying to navigate the care system, either as a caregiver or as a youth. And so knowing that you have those people who are making those phone calls on your behalf is just really huge. It makes me want to tear up when you think about that.
Absolutely.
And so the way that it really connects back is, obviously helps to provide that financial support that runs the relational side of our programs. It's really touching those families. And so we recently had a caregiver give just such a good example. I thought she entered our wait list for the Love Box program. And she talked about how so many people, when you first get a placement, they want to provide that tangible support, which is huge and really needed. Those toys and games and books and things like that and clothes. But she talked about how, for the little boy who is in her care, she said there's a need for relational support. He might have the toys, but she goes, you can't put a toy in a hole.
No.
She said he wants somebody to play with him. And so we're providing that. We're providing, that somebody who can come over and play with him and be there for him and ask him about his day and take him to the park and things like that. Those things that every child needs, but especially those who come from harder backgrounds. So,
yes, of course. And this year includes a stronger emphasis on trauma-informed advocacy and education. So what does that look like in practice for participants and the wider community?
As it relates to this event or to Great Escape, it's when people ask us what we do or, what does CVA do or what is your work? There's probably 50 different answers we could give. We could share our mission. We could talk about the different things that we do.
Right.
And we have this sort of little funny story that we share when we talk to groups, right? So I will usually share like what we call kind of the rain. I will talk about the trauma and the cycles and some of those things that are happening and the outcomes. And then Lydia swoops in and talks about our programs and she's the sunshine, to our rain. So we love talking about the stories like Lydia was just talking about. But the truth is, that caregiver is fostering this youth 24/7, 365. Right. So, when this kiddo's at school or at daycare or, aging out of the foster care system, there's so many challenges along the way. And it's critical that we support these families and caregivers because they can't do what they've signed up to do if they're burnt out, if they don't have resources to call. Right. So when Lydia was talking about playing, with the toys and asking about how your day is, foster parents do that all the time, right? And they're on, if you will, all the time, being aware of what this child needs and the needs change all the time. So to have, these community partners, and you'll hear stories from some of our volunteers and families, and they're like, we've become friends, right? Like this is not just I show up and I'm like, okay, I'm going to
Right.
watch your kids for 2 hours. It's like, I want to take your kids to the movie.
Oh,
Go
I
have a
love
break,
it.
go on a date, with
Yes,
your
of
significant other.
course.
And so, all of that starts with educating about the problem. We have to
Right.
share where the challenges are, what the
Yes.
problems are, and what support is
Yes.
needed. And then we know that people want to help. And we hear
Mhm.
that all the time. I want to
Right.
help. I don't know what to do. Like, what do I do? I don't know how to get involved.
Yes.
So things like the Great Escape, to be able to come and, have
Mhm.
some fun and have some, competition, but be able to educate like your network and your friends and your family about what we do is like, that's the fuel,
Yeah.
right? To
Right.
help us continue. We can't do this alone. Like, we
No.
cannot do this alone,
No.
right? Like,
Of course not.
so we need the entire community with
Yes.
us to support, those who are experiencing the foster care system. And this event is just one of the ways that we can connect people and they can come and have a little or a lot of fun and
Yes.
support the organization and also share that education.
Oh, I love that. So who can participate? Businesses, teams, friend groups, individuals, and how customizable is the experience?
Oh,
That's a good
yeah,
question.
that's a great question. Anybody can participate, first of all. So we contact a lot of local celebrities and people who are well known in the community, but truly anybody can sign up. If you have a heart for this work or are interested in learning more, you can absolutely participate. You can sign up under the volunteer tab on our website to be a competitor. And so it's really just an awesome opportunity. We encourage a lot, even within our Love Box program, where we have families who volunteer at our office. It's a great way to get your family involved, to get your kids involved.
Nice.
When I was 5, I probably couldn't send a text message, but 5-year-olds can now. So
Yes.
you can get your family involved, and you can have people come with you. You can have friends. We've had businesses compete together, and what an awesome
Nice.
opportunity to say, hey, as a business, we're going to
Yeah.
take 2 hours and we're going to come
Oh,
and do
yes.
this.
Yes.
And
Yes.
a lot of times businesses take a whole day of service, but this doesn't even have to be a full day. You can come over
Yeah.
the lunch hour, you can come over the dinner hour. It's just an awesome way to get involved. We've had other nonprofits bring their team or their family and come and participate. And so,
Nice.
like Andrea said, it's really a community effort, and you never know that the person on the other end of that call could be a future Love Box volunteer, a future
Oh,
foster family, a future
yes.
mentor who just doesn't know about our programs yet, but could have a huge heart for them. So,
Oh, I love it.
yeah.
And please tell us about your forthcoming fundraiser with a focus on music and admission, April 24th. What's the one called, or what's this one called? Where will it be, and what does it entail?
Yeah, so we aren't releasing the location just yet because we're still solidifying that. So I don't want to have to come back and correct that.
Yeah.
But a local venue, of course, as we
Yes,
want to
yes.
support, support the community. And we're bringing back Foster the Future, which is, kind of a mini sort of gala ish
Yes.
type event. And what we're doing this year is our theme is bingo, brews, and belonging.
Ooh.
So we're doing some music bingo. So
Sweet.
again, those people who like a little competition, and you can love music or not love music. We'll have other activities also, and obviously it's a great cause. And then the brews, obviously, we'll have drinks, also non-alcoholic drinks, and we're going to have a very creative food.
Nice.
Not a plated dinner this time, but a really creative and fun food kind of, food
kind of bar.
Yeah, like a food bar, right? So
A
more to come.
customizable experience.
Customizable experience. Yes, I like that. And the belonging piece, of course, is that, the foster care community can feel very lonely. It's, kids are away from their families of origin. They're feeling it. Caregivers are feeling it because this is just an experience, a life experience that's like nothing else. And it can be really tough, but we know that changing the outcomes, reducing homelessness, incarceration, poverty, all of these different things happens because these caregivers and these youth and kids feel that belonging. They feel people in their corner. They see them showing up. And so, that's the whole point of our organization and the events that we do. But we like to have a little fun and, have the old auction, fun items that so many organizations and businesses in the community support with us. So yes, we're very excited, but look very soon for the location and more information. It's going to be great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, what kind of impact have you seen when people step away from their everyday routines and engage in hands on, mission focused experiences like these?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, we talked about and mentioned before, like, we believe there's a place for everyone at CVA, and we're passionate about helping you find yours, whether you're a marketing intern from you and I, or you're someone who we have a retired teacher who's now a part-time librarian, and she'll just come in and organize our love box shop. Her name is Sharon. We call it Sharonizing. It's a whole verb now. It's great. But we have families who come in and volunteer together, after school. We have families, who participate in our Love Box program, Dare to Dream Mentors. Like, it takes a village, like Andrea said. And so it really is just a community effort to provide community to these families and youth. And I think it really just reminds us, there's a special kind of joy that comes from giving back that you can't find anywhere else, because you step outside of yourself and realize there's a greater, place for you to be a part of making a difference in someone else's story. And so whether it's, helping out at our office, or we have a lady who cleans for a living and she volunteers her time to come and clean at our office. And that's just a huge gift to our staff. So there's all sorts of ways to make our mission keep going. And we need you to be a part of it. So
there you go. Yeah. So is there a story, past or recent, that really captures why events like The Great Escape, Music with a Mission, and other events matter so much?
Oh yeah, sure. We have there's many stories, but when we did our event in the fall, was it the fall? No, it was last spring. That was similar to Great Escape, and we had lots of local celebrities there, and we had some of our local mayors were there, and other coaches and other folks in the community. And at the end of this event, one of the people who was participating was in tears, and we were like, just kind of in the other room, like just sort of having this moment, and we were like, what? I'm like, what? Are you okay? What's the matter? And she said, I didn't realize how much of a connection that I have to this. She said, I, agreed to do it because I feel like it's a great organization. I didn't know a lot about it. I wanted to support it. I wanted to help, and I have, connections. And I know people will want to help. And she said, people told me stories of, their experience in foster care or their connection to it. And she said, I cried a couple of times, like just talking to folks. And she said, I had no idea what type of connections and that people were opening up to me when I would call to say, hi, I'm trapped. I need you to help me get out. And it was just, it was just this moving experience that she didn't even know that she was going to have. Yeah.
Yes. Andrea, from a foster and adoptive parent's perspective, what does strong, informed community support look like behind the scenes?
Oh, I love that. I'll start kind of with what are the obstacles for a second.
Yes.
So when you are in the foster care, world, it's really surprising to see how many people around you don't know about the foster care system really, or they have certain, stereotypes or thoughts or opinions, and non-judgmentally, that exists in every corner, right? It exists in the medical fields. It exists in education. It exists in just every aspect of a youth and family's life. And so, I have found myself, we've been in this world, 13 or 14 years. And even still today, I'm still having to really advocate at a whole nother level that I didn't expect. And educate about trauma and what it does to the brain and and what that looks like when kids are little, and then what does it look like when they're 16 or 14 or 12, right? And I went to a training one time, and it was about brain development, for kids who've been through trauma. And the trainer said the thing that just most impacted me since then. She said, it's very easy when, for example, a little chubby cheeked, cute little kid is struggling, and you're, showing them empathy and trying to help them. She's like, but what happens is if kids grow up and they haven't had the support that they need and able to start to heal and build some of those skills, then they're really just a 3-year-old in a 13-year-old's body.
Oh,
But you're looking at them as a 13-year-old
yeah.
and having, opinions and thoughts about what their reaction should be or how they should be handling it, because they're not this cute, like chubby little 3-year-old anymore. And it just completely changed the way that I look at foster care and, when people experience trauma. So, what it looks like is, friends and family showing up, even if it's, I don't know what to do, please help me. I'm not normally an advocate of saying, call if you need help, because that's not always helpful to people.
Yeah,
but I think just being able to show up, like, just go there, don't text, just go there and say, what's hard? What do you need? Can I make you meals? What can I do? And I think as a business or an organization, understanding how trauma impacts you and your organization. So we had a very traumatic experience in a local medical office. And, I felt bad at the end, because I know that these people that we had this interaction with just didn't understand, right? They kind of thought I was just being this, like, oh yeah, all moms say this and all moms do this. They didn't understand the level of trauma one of my kids had experienced. Even though I talked about it. And so, they took it as a learning experience. We've had lots of educators, take what they've learned through our meetings and make changes in their school or in their office. And so just that's what our families need. That's what kids need. And we want to be the hub for that. So if you're like listening to this and you're like, oh, I want to help and I'm at this organization or this business, or I don't even know what to do. Call CVA, text us, email us, show up at the office, whatever that looks like, we will help educate and, bring this to you. And, everybody can impact a kiddo. You do, and you don't even know sometimes. So it's just a really wonderful thing when people show up. I often say, like in our Love Box program, if someone had shown up and said, here's a lasagna. We joke about lasagnas. And then now we actually deliver them sometimes to people.
Ooh, nice.
Our staff actually delivers them to each other when we have hard days. That might have happened a couple times recently. And
nice.
If somebody had showed up and said, hey, I know things are hard, but here's this lasagna just so you can like not have to make dinner. I probably would have just started bawling, because like, it's just one thing you don't have to do either that day or another. Or if somebody had said, hey, do you want to go to coffee? Do you want to just like get out of here? And, we all have stresses and things going on, even outside of that. So I probably would have started bawling too. Right. But CVA wasn't around when we were licensed. And that's why I'm so passionate about this, because it truly makes a difference and in the families and the kiddos. So.
Oh gosh, yes. And Lydia, as a storyteller and a connector, what do you hope participants walk away feeling after unlocking that final escape?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I hope they're excited. Last time we had in our final session, we had some kazoos going. So everyone broke out of the office doing kazoos. It was a pretty cool video. So, there's that excitement and adrenaline of participating in a cool event. But I hope that, long after kind of some of that wears off, that they really just feel proud of what they were able to be a part of, but also realize, they kind of carried that excitement and adrenaline and, weight of like, am I gonna, be able to finish this and do this in 2 hours? But then realize that, these kids carry an enormous weight every single day. That they don't get to just walk away from after 2 hours. And so just realizing that that is something for these kids and families that doesn't go away. And so participants can, it's incredible that they're able to help for 2 hours, but remembering those kids, that their lives continue to go on beyond that session of time. And so that they need support 24/7, 365. And that's what we're really trying to do, is help empower those caregivers, empower the youth, to have the love and support that they deserve.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And so what else do you have coming up in 2026 that viewers should keep on their radar?
Ooh, all kinds of good things. Let's see. So we talked about Foster the Future in April. So that's a fundraising event. In May is National Foster Care Awareness Month. And so we have some fun, things coming up it's also, May is also our CVA anniversary. It's the month that
Ooh.
CVA was founded, this chapter. So
Wow.
we have some things kind of cooking for that. And then
Nice.
in the second half of the year, we also do another fundraiser. And then at the very end of the year, we co-host an event called Operation Santa, where
Ooh.
we and a bunch of community volunteers and businesses and organizations come together to ensure that any child who's been adopted or part of the foster care system at some point has a gift. So
I
that
love
they're,
it.
yeah, we have lots of, the way the laws have changed, we have a lot more what we call kinship families taking
Ooh.
care of kiddos, which, I was a licensed foster parent. The kids that we had in our home were not related to me, or I didn't know them, right?
Yeah.
Until now they're my kids and I really know them.
Yes.
And but if there are lots of families stepping up to care for the children of other family members. And so we really need to support them. And they don't, sometimes it's a misnomer that like, hey, people who are fostering or doing kinship, like, get a ton of money. That is not true. It's not true at all. And so we need to support them. So we've got fundraisers, we've got, foster care month coming up. We've got a few other things in the summer planned. And then underneath all that, we do events for our families, right? That's the whole reason we're here. And we reach out for sponsorships and volunteers and things throughout the year. So we've just, again, there's a place for everybody at CVA. So if you're like, I'm not a, fundraiser type of person, but I want to help, just call us. We literally have people call us or show up and say, I want to help. What can I do? So we'll find what works for you.
I love that. Now switching gears just a little bit.
Yeah.
What brought each of you into foster care work?
Yeah. So I didn't have a ton of prior experience in foster care world before stepping into this role, but I knew a lot about grief. That is a lot of my family's personal story. And so the biggest one was when I was 14, we lost my dad to cancer. Thank you. Yeah. And so a lot of what that loss has taught me has really motivated me in this work. And I remember what it's like to be a kid with your world shattered. And that's what a lot of these kids are walking through. And, going to school, even when he was sick, and just your classmates don't realize the weight that you're carrying. And just what a small kind word, or, my teachers dropping off, Christmas gifts for us to open every day of December after my dad passed away. Like some of those things just stick with you to this day. And what that means when you know that you have people behind you. And I've had seasons where I felt that way, seasons where I haven't. And I can tell you that when you have those people behind you in your corner who don't just say, call when you need me, but they show up and they say, I know you need me. I'm going to come fold your laundry. I'm going to come bring you a meal. I'm going to come just sit with you and hand you a Kleenex. And you have no idea what that means when somebody's carrying a hard burden. So, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. She has a very powerful story.
It's so powerful.
Yes, she uses it all for good.
Yeah.
My journey was a little different than that. My husband and I struggled with infertility for a long time, and it's not necessarily something that we knew we were going to run into. And so that was like, it's very interesting, right? Like through that journey, it's actually a grief and loss story too, but it's totally different. And people don't think of it the same way as like you lose your father, right? So, you mentioned earlier that I volunteered with some infertility, advocacy and things like that. And so we do have a connection in my family to foster care because my mom actually was in the foster care system when she was a teenager. And she had the most wonderful foster parents who are still with us. And they've been, an extra set of grandparents to us our whole lives. And, we're still in touch. They send us a Christmas card every year telling us where they are. And, things like Facebook help us stay connected, because we're not super close in proximity to each other right now. And so all of that was going on. And I was like, okay, let's look at what that foster care looks like. And after we had done some treatments and they didn't work, and I just reached this point where I was like, I don't care how we become parents. I just want to be one. And if we can help some people along the way, that's fine. So we called and had an information session and went to that, took the foster parent classes. And, by the second, I think it was like the second night, we both looked at each other and like, we said, this is what we should be doing. And, one of the first kiddos, we had 2 kiddos initially, and their mom asked me one day when I was dropping them off, she said, why are you doing this? And it was always very important to me to not make her feel like I'm trying to take your children from you. Like, that's not the goal. I'm just taking care of them while you're doing what you need to do for yourself. And I told her that. That's what I said to her. And she was like, really? And I said, yeah. And our heart is that, if for some reason they can't, go back home, whether it's these kiddos or others, then we will be there forever, long-term home. And so it's just been, that's kind of how we got into it. And some friends of mine, actually I used to work with someone named Sue, and we had gone out of state for a while, and we came back. She had fostered and was in the process of adopting some kiddos, and she had come to our house. And so she sort of sparked that in me, and, was able to talk to my mom a little bit more deeply about what that looked like. And so we turned off the infertility efforts and turned on the foster care efforts. And I would have never believed it would have turned into all of this and being in this seat right now. So
that's so amazing. So tell me, quick fun, what's something people might be surprised to learn about each of you? I love that smile.
Oh,
wow.
My gosh. Oh. Lydia, do you have one?
Oh goodness. I feel like my go-to crazy fun fact, which I consistently get made fun of for, is that I put ketchup on lasagna. So that's like
what? How did I not know this? We talk about lasagna all the time.
My friends when we go to Olive Garden are like, do not ask for ketchup.
That's so funny.
So it's something my dad's family always did, and I just adopted it.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
So,
That's so cute.
I find that, if you share that and people still love you, that it's just a really good sign. So
yeah.
I feel like that's my crazy fun fact.
That's
adorable. I have a lot of quorks, but that's probably one of the bigger ones.
For the record, I still love you, but maybe we'll have to catch up when we're eating lasagna.
I love it.
Oh, that's so funny. You said something that people wouldn't know about you?
That's correct.
Wow. When you do this work and you're an open book
I was
all
gonna
the
say,
time,
this is hard. We're kind of open books.
I feel like, it's hard to find something like that. I think it actually, even going back to when I was in college, and I was like working in a professional job, if you come to the office, the music that I might be playing while I'm working is, like pop music or something. I love all kinds of music.
Yeah.
But it's office appropriate, right? Well, I am a 90s child, so I am, I love all the music from that era, but I also have an obsession with 90s country.
Ooh,
so
yes.
When I start singing along, people are like, what? How do you know this? And I'm like, this is from the 1900s, right? As the kids say now. But my true love of music is grunge and rock. And I'm kind of a metalhead.
I love it.
Yeah. So I remember one time I wore like a Metallica hat somewhere when I was in college, and it was like a work thing, like a casual work thing. And people were like, you like Metallica? What? And so I still get that sometimes because people don't always, they're not in my car, right?
Listening
to,
right.
Yeah.
That's
so
adorable.
So whatever music you have on in your car.
Yes.
I'm down. It's fine.
I love it. So when the work feels heavy, what keeps you hopeful and moving forward?
Number one, humor.
Yay!
You have to find the light in the day. And we try to, together, as a staff, it's like just when obstacles happen, because not everything that happens is about like a family specifically. We run into other obstacles sometimes.
Yes, of course.
So we just try to roll with that and
Yeah.
sometimes make fun of ourselves for whatever is happening and,
Right.
and be humorous about it. But I know personally, it's when you see, this probably will sound cliche, but when you see a caregiver or talk to a volunteer or a caregiver, or you watch these interactions happen and you see the hope and the support and the lifting of burdens, like it gets me up every day, right? Like, and knowing personally how that actually feels, like I don't know, it would take a freight train to stop me from continuing this work, even though it's hard.
There you go. Wow. Love it.
What about you?
Well, I feel like for me, there's quite a few things. You got to have a bag of coping mechanisms.
Yes.
Got to have a lot of options. But humor is definitely a huge one.
Yes.
We do laugh a lot at the office, so that's really life-giving. I think for me, faith is a huge one, and what gets me through, and I see a lot of that play out in this work, and just believing so strongly in what we do. And I think just what Andrea is saying too, like when you see something click. I had a really cool moment with a mentor the other day when I was talking with her, and we're trying to even re-educate, because they obviously go through trauma-informed training, but some of these mentors and volunteers who've been at it for 1-2 years, those training videos that you watch at the beginning start to slip away a little bit.
Sure.
So re-educate them on the trauma-informed care practices that we really believe so strongly in, and just that the relationships they're forming help to heal. And just had a really cool moment where a mentor just like saw that click.
Yeah.
She's a former teacher, super passionate about working with kids, but she was like, oh, okay. So like when my mentee's like bio father like skips visits and like doesn't show up, but when I like show up consistently and on time and what time I'm going to say I'm going to pick her up and everything, she's like, that's actually helping her realize that there's a different path forward, and there's people who care about her, and that doesn't have to be a pattern in her life.
Right.
And that helps her build a healthy attachment that she might not have had otherwise. And I said, yes.
Yes.
Which is
love
huge.
It. I
So,
love that.
Yeah.
So how can our viewers find out more about The Great Escape, your fundraiser with a focus on music and mission on the 24th of April, and follow Cedar Valley Angels online from websites, social media, and any other ways?
Yeah, it used to be like call this phone number, right?
Yeah,
But now
yeah.
it's like here's all the things, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So we have a website, of course, cedarvalleyangels.org. And so we put many things there, volunteering in our programs, volunteering in other events, and our fundraisers and things will start to pop up there. And we are on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok sometimes.
Nice.
We try to do some of those funny TikTok trends to
there you go.
to spread the word and have a little fun.
Yes,
but
of course.
you can also, our email is on our website, info@cedarvalleyangels.org. And our phone number is on there. It comes to a cell phone that we can text, whatever. You can show up at the office, whatever you would like to do. Just get in touch with us and we'll get you what you need.
Yeah.
Perfect. Any closing thoughts?
I think, thank you, Vicki, for continuing to have us. You've been such a huge supporter in so many ways, and also, provided us with some wonderful connections. And that's really what it's all about, right? Like when you learn about the organization and you hear somebody who may need support or wants to get involved, and just continuing to make these connections. You've been one of our most staunch supporters, and we just really appreciate you.
I do want to share with the audience that when I worked at your last fundraiser and my mama was in transition to passing away, you both turned to me and said, honey, why don't you just go be with her? You don't have to be here. How kind that was. And I was able to go right to her side and be with her. So thank you so much. Yeah. It was beautiful.
Oh, of course.
Yes, thank you.
That's where you needed to be.
You needed to be.
Yep, that's right. So thank you so much. Ladies, will you come back and do this again with me?
Of course.
Always.
Yay! All right.
Such a blast.
Thank you so much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, bye. Have a great night, and thanks for tuning in.